Okay, so there is a really annoying bug with Pet Autocast. I don't know if this only affects DK, but also like BM, Hunter. I haven't looked into those, but it definitely affects at least Death Knight. And what I'm going to do here is, actually you can see I don't have the pet tab right now because I'm on the mount, and that's actually part of this. So I'm going to unmount. You see the pet tab comes up. And I don't know if you noticed, but I had these down here and they were not on Autocast. Now they're on Autocast. This is part of the bug, but let me go ahead and start from the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to turn them off by right-clicking. Right, turn them off by right-clicking. And I'll mount. Now, as long as I stay on the ground, you see this pet tab doesn't disappear. All right, pet tab doesn't disappear. And if you look at my action bar here at the bottom right, you can see I have non-leap here and they're not on Autocast. I'll dismount and you can see that they're still not on Autocast. All right, they're still not on Autocast. Okay, but if I mount and I go up in the air a little bit here, you'll notice the pet tab disappears. And when I come down, if I dismount, you'll see they're now on Autocast. And that happens every single time, so that's reproducible. Really annoying, you know, because it happens in BGs too. Even if you can't fly in the BGs, it still is taking your pet abilities from being autocast off and making them autocast on. See? There's a little bit of a workaround. You can work in slash pet autocast off, nah, slash pet autocast off leap, and put that into a macro. Either write that into a macro that you use a lot, so it will just kind of be turning them off passively, or put it in a macro, but you just have to make sure that you use it every time that you dismount, basically. I'm going to look back through footage and see if I can actually find a place where it goes from autocast off to autocast on in BG footage, but it has something to do with the mount. However, this bug is not working on the beta, which may or may not be surprising because there's no flying on the beta. So I'm going to flip over to beta and show you what happens there. Okay, and now I'm on the beta, and just a side note, I'll probably go Necrolord with Unholy DK for beta. Not just because of the Covenant ability, but just because the armor is the most badass looking armor for an Unholy DK, and we all know that's the most important thing. Character power is not the most important thing. It's how you look. That's the most important thing. So this is beta, and you can see here on the bottom right, I have non-leap here. They're set to autocast off. I'm going to go ahead and mount. And of course I can't fly. I'm going to go ahead and hop a little bit. So I'm coming up off the ground. Oh, and I need to go to this. So you see the pet there. It's not, tab is not disappearing, when I go up off the ground. Even if maybe this won't kill me. If I jump off here, I catch air. It's still there. I am able to induce losing it with the glider, at least I was before. Let me see if I can induce losing it with the glider. Okay, so I want to induce losing the pet tab with the glider if possible, just to show that that's not going to do anything to the autocast. Let's see if I can do that. They stay a long time. Okay, there they left, right? So you see the pet tab dropped, but I'll go ahead and resummon. And now the pet tab's back, but you can see autocast did not turn on. So that bug is not here on the beta, but it could be because of flying mounts. And it's probably related to this bug. Let me show this. So if you are mounted, and I think this one's been around for a real long time, this bug. So if you are mounted, right, I'm on the pet tab, I'm going to right click this. You see it doesn't turn. I'm right clicking and it's not turning the autocast on. So when you're mounted, you can't change the state of that. If I go off, if I right click, you see it turns them on. And let me do, I'm going to mount, I'm going to right click, and you'll see I won't be able to turn it off. So when you're mounted, you cannot change the state of Autocast. And if I dismount, I'll be able to turn them off. So maybe it's related to that bug, and there's some type of bug with flying. I have no idea. But that should be at least enough for Blizzard to look into it and fix it, because, man, this is a really, really annoying bug. Okay, so this is a BG, and if you look at the bar, I have Autocast on. Under pet abilities, I noticed that I turned them off as I'm headed out the gate. And what I want to do is I want to go back and try to track down exactly the point where they turn back on. So I'm going to end up crossing the field here and engaging into opening fight. And I don't believe they actually turn on at this point. Alright, so, this is pre-patch, and I'm just going to jump in here just to see, how much survivability I have and what I can do on the DK. It's one of the first matches I played in pre-patch. And you can see that the Autocast is still off. I've pushed really deep here. I try to help our healer. Maybe able to get a kill on this DK. But it turns out that my entire team dies. I'm not kidding, my entire team dies. So I'm left like fighting their old team. And I just run in this just to show you, hey look, I end up top damage and top healing. Pretty good, huh? So take a look here what's happening when I res. I release off of that death. And it's Autocast off. And I'm going to resurrect here, and it's going to switch to Autocast on. See, it's Autocast on now. So it's not just mount. So that first part, it is related to flying mount, but that is only a part of it. There's more to it. Because right there, dying and releasing to the graveyard turned them back on. I mean, obviously you don't want to have to like click these off every single time you dismount or if you die in res. I mentioned before, you could set it up in that macro, where you have it turns the Autocast off again. But that shouldn't be, necessary. They need to fix this bug. Find out exactly what's causing it. It's like something to do with the change in the state of the pet. And the flying mount induces it, and the dying and releasing induces it as well.